Hello, it's D2This. Welcome to the I'm Nobody podcast, or at least I try to make it like a podcast style type of video. This is, I believe, number 3. I wanted to do this um, at least monthly. I believe the first one I did was in May. I think I was able to put a video out in June. I'm not sure I did one in August. Um, I don't think I did. Well, no, because this is number 3, so obviously I didn't, right? Honestly, I thought it was way longer than that, but then when I checked my documents, I mean, it was a lot. It wasn't that far along. Okay. So, anyways, I make this non-video. It's just an image of the logo due to the fact that I wanted to resemble a radio show type of programming where you can listen to it while you're perhaps taking a walk at the park, um, maybe doing the dishes, um, cooking, um, maybe you want to have it in the background to listen to as you play your favorite video games. Who knows what you people do? Maybe um, do stuff on the computer, be on your social medias while you listen to me, and maybe you hashtag and rant about what you think about what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe you just want to listen to it as you do nothing. I don't know. Maybe you want to use this as an outlet to try and fall asleep. Who knows? As long as you listen to it, I'm okay with it, no matter what you're doing. But that is the intention for this video series. I'm Nobody. Um, the point of the title, kind of want to give to it was that I'm technically nobody. I'm not a movie star. I'm not a musician star. I'm not a TV star. I'm nobody that anybody knows who I am. I never been anybody. So that's kind of the reason and purpose behind the title, but it's also as if me saying, listen to me if you think I'm interesting, even though I'm a nobody, and hopefully in your eyes I become a somebody. Who knows what you'll feel about this? But let's just dive into it. Um, the main reason I cannot produce a video where it comes to me ranting and raving, whether it's this series or my other series that I call My Tube, where that one's just me talking about my personal life experience and sharing my life stories. I would like to do that one weekly, right? But I'm incapable of that, and that's basically the same reason I don't do this series every week. That's because I'm incapable of finding a subject to talk about every 7 days on a weekly program. So that is the main reason, y'all, and I apologize if you all expect that. Another reason I may add is because the time it takes, especially if I were to be working on both every week. And I think also the fact that I get bored of just producing the same type of video on a weekly basis. It has to vary from week to week to week. I don't know. And back to the time thing, I'm not making any money off of YouTube here. It's all a hobby. It's all for my own fun and games. So the time that I would spend doing this means less time with the daughter and my wife. Um, let's put all that to rest and start diving into our rant here because I believe I said too much in 5 minutes that has meant probably nothing to very little to any of you. Okay, there's a few topics that I have in mind here that I want to talk about. Hopefully, I don't forget anything. I did not write anything. I just decided to do this in the last minute because I wanted to do a rant video, and I decided on this one. I did not. Again, there I go with the pointless statements there that mean absolutely nothing to nobody, and there's no point to them. And I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say sometimes because I'm trying to also remember the subjects I want to discuss. Like I was saying, I did not write anything down in a notebook, in a notepad, or in a memo on my cell phone, which I don't even have with me at the moment. It's charging in our bedroom. Um, that's pointless to say, I know. Um, a lot of this stuff I'm gonna say could end up being pointless. Who the heck knows? And there's this annoying thing that keeps popping up on my desktop here, on my laptop. I mean, it says your computer is low on memory. I think that is irrelevant since I'm saving this to my portable hard drive. It's a mobile hard drive that you connect to the laptop or any other laptop you want. Save it. Anyways, what was I ranting? Oh yeah. So I didn't make a note of anything, so I need to actually remember these things as I continue and rant and rave or whatever. Um, so there's a lot of things that I'm gonna discuss. Um, it could be entertainment. It could be, by entertainment I meant anything that's entertaining. It could be a TV show on TV. It could be something I watch on Netflix, YouTube. It could be music, video games, movies that's in theaters, straight to DVD, um, whatever. That maybe I saw it on Redbox. Okay, that's basically what I usually talk about in this series. But I'll also get into how I feel about some recent news or some news that I've been aware of that's happened this year or the past couple of weeks and months. Um, and I'm going to give my opinions on that. I know some may be a little too late to talk about, but what else would I talk about? And those things are in my mind. So let me get them out and give my opinions to everyone. And since you're not locally, I'm assuming majority of people who will listen to this will not be from the hometown I am and might not ever have heard about this new subjects. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna get into in today, and I might include some other stuff. Who the heck knows? I'm just making this stuff along as I go with it. Okay, so in no particular order, nothing's gonna be arranged or organized in a certain way. I'm just gonna get into it when I get into it, and in the sequence I get into it, in the order get into it, we'll have no organization. And if I skip through stuff, like I go back and forth, who the heck knows? I have issues. Okay, so a couple months ago, earlier in 2019, earlier in the year, I would say maybe the early months of 2019. This could have been maybe February or March. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong on the month. It could have been the last month of last year for all I know, or who the heck knows how long ago this was. But I'm pretty sure it was under a year ago. I'm pretty sure it was earlier at the start of this year or perhaps at the end of 2018. But that's kind of the timeline I'll give it. It's I believe so. It was February or March, right? I don't think the time thing is irrelevant to the story and the points I'm gonna make. But if you were wondering, I believe so. It was around February, March. The latest I would think it's April. I don't think it was in May, and I hardly even think it was in April. I'm pretty sure actually that it was around February or March. So let's say it was March for argument's sakes. And there was this news thing where, and and I don't know if this is gonna be too gruesome for some of you. So here's a warning. I'm gonna tell you some news things that I've seen on the news or read on the news or that my wife told me to catch me up on the news. She read online or whatever, and then the thing is, it could be too gruesome to some people. Who the heck know? I don't know if YouTube's gonna, disband this whole thing just because of this statement. Who the heck knows? But I'm gonna put it out there anyways. Um, and I'm gonna judge people because what this happened, you can't blame anyone for judging anyone. Okay, it's not my fault that I'm about to judge somebody because this person deserves, or these people deserve to be judged. Okay, trust me. So the story goes, um, this woman and her boyfriend or husband or whatever he was, they were arrested because they had discovered that they had um, their daughter, one of their daughters, or the woman's daughter, because that was just the stepdad or the boyfriend of the mom. The daughter, who I believe was under 1 years old, I believe they were just a couple months old. Could be wrong on that. She could have been a year old, but I'm pretty sure this child was about maybe just 7, 8 months old. Regardless, it was a heartbreaking thing. So the story goes that the police discovered that this couple had, they didn't kill the child, but they had discovered that the child had drowned and have been they were put into acids. The child was put into an acid um, after it's been killed, whether it's accidental or not. It's a whole nother thing. Um, so the explanation for the couple, from the couple or the mother of the child, is that according to what she says, is that they had, well, basically they were being arrested for negligence, right? And also for I'm assuming because they were trying to hide the evidence of a dead body of a corpse of a minor and a child, or whether it's a minor or not, it's still illegal, whatever you. Um, so the story goes, supposedly, according to the mother of this child, that they had left her in the tub during bath time and accidentally drowned. The child accidentally drowned because it was left unsupervised for a minute or two. When they came back to the tub, discovered the child had drowned and died. And because she did not want to, pay the consequences of neglecting their child, like she had had previous kids taken away from her. This was not her first child. Um, and so what happened is that, according to the lady, um, she discovered her child dead. The boyfriend or the fiance or the husband, whatever, um, came home. The lady told him, this is what happened. Help me, dispose of the body. They used acid to try and get rid of the evidence. Um, the way they were caught, as the story goes, is that she confided in a neighbor she had befriended. They lived in an apartment here in town, so she had been friends with a friend, with one of the neighbors in the apartments, and she had asked the neighbor from the apartment, to help him get rid of the child's body. The neighbor took it not serious, thinking, okay, this is not serious. This is a joke. It's not serious. Um, so the neighbor dismissed it. The friend dismissed it. The next day, when she went to knock on the lady's, front door to ask for, maybe borrow a coffee or whatever the thing is that she went to go, knock at, she discovered a strange scent coming from the apartment. And she kind of realized that she didn't, she had seen the other two children, but not that one. So, or something of that nature. And so she started feeling a lot more like maybe it was serious when, you know, she asked me to, get rid of the body or whatever, help her. And so she questioned the lady. She said, "Were you really serious about that?" And she said, "Yes," right? Or something like that. And then so once the neighbor realized it wasn't a joke, it was a serious thing. And she kind of already had that proof in her mind. Basically that's when she phoned the police that there might be, a dead child's body in that apartment or whatever. She told police, whatever. The point is they were caught. That's the situation. The point I want to cut and say is, who the heck would do that? Why? Why? This is your child. This is your child, not someone else's child that you were taking care of and they accidentally drowned. No, it is your damn child. And when it comes to the woman, you birthed this child, you carried this child inside of you for 9 months. Why would you do that? If you accidentally, if accidentally drown the child because you left her alone, why wouldn't you just call police and deal with the consequences of your mistake? Because that telling me when you don't do that is that you don't care about the child. And yes, obviously you didn't care about the child, because if you did care about the child, you wouldn't let them unsupervised in the damn tub. Jesus. I could be wrong about the age. Could have been a much older child. The damn thing is a child, regardless if it's 2 or 3 years old or 8 months. Who cares? You don't leave your child unsupervised, not even for a damn minute. And then, if you do, and you discover a drown in your absence, as the mother that you gave birth to this child after holding it inside of you for 9 months, you do not just say, "Oh, whatever, let me just burn it in acid. No one will find out." No, this is your damn child. It's not your damn dog that freaking died and you throw it down the street. That's still horrible. But at least that's a damn dog, and you do that to a dog. It's one thing, which I don't think anyone should do, but if you did that to a dog, it's one thing. But you don't do that to your child. No, that's heartless. That's heartless. And that's just assuming it was an accident. That's just my opinion, assuming if it's an accident. But if it's, you assume that they're bullshitting, that they're lying, you assume that they're lying, which I do think they're lying. It wasn't an accident. I have reasons to believe that you intentionally drowned the child, because if you didn't intentionally drown the child, why would you intentionally try to get rid of the evidence? Why would you try to burn the body with acid? Why? That has suspicious all over it. That tells me you're heartless. Why would any normal parent behave that way? It's not normal. It ain't right. It just ain't right. It is sickening. It is disturbing. Whether it was an accident or intentional, it is all damn wrong. I feel strongly about this, and I'm pretty sure everyone agrees. Any normal human being listening to this agrees 1,030%. Just say whatever number. They agree. You got to. If you have any sanity, if you have any heart, you agree 1,000%. You agree. Definitely. It is so heartbreaking to hear a news like that, especially as a father to a girl who's about to be 2 years old in November. It is heartbreaking to hear. I don't know what's much worse is that the stepdad comes in and your lady just tells you that your stepdaughter drowned, and let's get rid of the evidence, and you're okay doing it just because it's not your child, it's your stepchild, and maybe you didn't give a crap about it because it's not your actual child, but still, it's heartless regardless whether it's your child or not. It's just even worse from the lady because that's her actual damn child, but it's still horrific for the stepdad to go along with it. It is still horrifying to know there are people out there in the world that are like this. There is no excuse for it. It is unacceptable, period, and a damn country. Damn. No excuse for this type of monstrous behavior. If I come home and my wife tells me our daughter drowned, let's get rid of the body, I'm gonna look at her like she's damn devil. Are you insane? I ain't helping you do that. I'm turning you damn in. That's what a normal people would think. But obviously, these people are not normal. They're not. And it makes sense that a monster guy would be dating a monster woman. So that at least makes sense to why they were together. But no, it's unacceptable. These monsters have got to go. They don't belong in our world, in our society. It is one thing to be heartless and cruel to adults, but to treat like that a child, an innocent child, is another damn story. This whole thing is heartbreaking. If our daughter accidentally drowned, first of all, I will feel as guilty, as damn guilty, accidental if she drowned because I walked out for a second or a minute or whatever and my child drowns and dies. I will feel like the worst father in the world, like the worst person in the world for neglecting that child, even if it was 30 seconds and that was enough to have this horrible thing happen to me, to her. I mean, I would feel so guilty. I will never get past it. I will never get past it. That's the feeling a real parent gets, a real mother or a real father gets. If something happens to your beloved child, accidental, you feel guilty even on accident because you're human. You have a heart, you have feelings for your child. You are raising this child. You love this child. And the normal behavior is guilt. Even though it's an accident, you can't help but feel like you could have prevented it. You would feel guilty to the max. From here to the moon, I would feel guilty, even if it's an accident. Anything. If any type of way happened to our child, because I was being neglectful and she got ran over. or anything else possibly that could go wrong, I feel guilty. 100,000%. I would feel guilty for not being there to save her. I would feel the guiltiest of guiltiest. I would want to probably kill myself because I would say I deserve it for neglecting my child. This has me so passionate. I don't think I have ever, ever felt so much about a situation ever before that I personally wasn't involved in. I had nothing to do with this story, but hearing about it, it's just heartbreaking when you see, when you know that there's a child who suffered like this. This is just bad in so many ways. I hope this never happens to someone else's child. And if you do, you should feel guilty. You should feel like it's your fault. I know I would, even if it's clear, if it's not my fault, I would feel guilty for not being there as the child's hero, as you should be. But no, not these people. They were okay with putting it on acid and trying to get rid of the evidence. And not only that, but wasn't it stupid to go and tell somebody else? So not only were they, hard coded monsters, but they were even idiots about it. Like, who does that? Who goes and tells a friend or a neighbor, oh, by the way, this happened, and I'm trying to get, the body out of here and hide it? Like, why would you share that with anybody and think that no one's gonna rat you out? Do you, did she really think, oh, they were that close of a friend that, I can commit this heartless crime and she won't tell on me? Like, seriously, seriously, does she think, everybody's, is as messed up as I am, and no one's gonna tell on me? I can share it with a neighbor, a friend. I mean, how close were they to the point where she will assume that she can get away with it even though she told somebody about it? Like, that's just idiotic. Or does it go with the heartless thing where you're so heartless, you don't know what's right from wrong, that you think that everybody will be like that? I mean, because if it's me, I'm thinking I'm not going to share this with anybody. There's a chance they could, rat me out. They can call the authorities against me. Why would I share that with anyone? But that's not even my issue. Yes, that was stupid, but my issue is don't be doing those things. That was heartless 1,000%. Guys, one of the issues I have with YouTube is that when someone does a video and then you have 500, or I'm exaggerating, maybe 100 more different people doing that same type of videos, just a repeated thing over and over. I despise, I dislike 100% similar video trend videos where it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. No new ideas. Everyone just rips each other off. Somebody does something and it gets the views. Everybody's gotta do it. No one can stay original. Nobody. And think about it, those videos end up being trash. They're garbage. They're not worth nothing. And these people get thousands of views. I mean, how many idiots are out there watching this? Seriously, this stuff is not entertaining. It's the same repeated garbage over and over. And I know what you're thinking, well, does it matter if you think it's garbage, if it's drawing eyeballs? And I understand that, but at the end of the day, it's still garbage. I don't understand how so many people can like the garbage. I mean, there are just so many people viewing these videos. In their perspective and their opinion, it is not garbage. But I think to myself, how many people see this as not garbage? I mean, how many idiots can this draw attention to? But then you think about it and you're like, okay, who's spending more time on YouTube? It's obviously not people my age. I have never heard anyone my age talk about these type of videos they watch on YouTube. Nobody watches that kind of content. You know who it is? It's the teenagers, the middle schoolers, the high schoolers who have that kind of time. Adults that are nearing 30-year-olds like me, I'm about to be 30 next month. We don't have the time to watch these in a serious fashion, entertaining way where we're gonna watch one after another. No, it's these teenagers and these preteens, maybe even fourth and fifth graders, who are drawing the views for that. They might repeatedly watch one over and over, which is why it gets the number of views. And you might be thinking, okay, that's your audience. That's your audience, that age gap that draws those views. And it may be that when you go after that audience that is younger, maybe that's where the views are. Rather, when you go after a brighter audience, a more adult audience, it's tougher to grab them because they have so less time that if your video content isn't great 1,000%, they're not gonna come back to your channel. They're not gonna subscribe. You're not gonna keep repeated viewers, and that might be the problem. I don't know. Maybe my content's just horrible, and I'm not saying my content here on YouTube is better. By all means, I got a whole lot improving to do, but there are some out there that are even worse. Not talking about quality, but maybe in entertainment. In entertainment, maybe my channel is bad. Who the heck knows? I don't know. I try my best, and sometimes I could try harder, yes. But at the end of the day, it's just a hobby, so that's why, and it kind of affects it, right? So to that point is, okay, maybe if you tried harder, and maybe if this was more than a hobby. Okay, like I said, I'm not saying it to favor my channel. I'm not saying, oh, my channel deserves those views. I'm just saying, and I'm just questioning why those videos that, in my opinion, are not good at all draw those views. I don't think they should. But then I think about it, like I said, it's the younger audience. Maybe that's why. Maybe I can understand it that way. But if it's everybody else other than the teens watching those, I mean, I don't see that happening. But at the end of the day, I still don't think that those kind of videos should be repeated over and over and over. I think to me it ruins the YouTube. To me it ruins it because it's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Nothing's different, nothing's fresh out of the imagination, and that's just how I feel about that subject. If you're listening to this while you drive, I doubt it that anyone is, but if you are, be very careful, people, when you're driving in the streets. 2 weeks ago, I heard about a car accident that killed two people, a woman and an older man in his 60s, I believe. They were driven into dishes by a 17-year-old driver with lesser experience, I guess you can say. All I have to say about that is that Yes, accidents happen, but you can avoid these accidents and save your life or save everyone's life. Remember, don't be too distracted while you're driving, ladies. The makeup can wait, or wake up early, or whatever you gotta do. Do not apply your makeup while you're driving. I've seen that before. Don't do that. Don't do whatever else you do that's distracting. Don't eat your cheeseburger while you're driving. Forget your phone. Forget it exists for those moments as you drive. Forget about it. Because if you don't, your next Snapchat will be your last. Could be. It's not threat. I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that it's dangerous. And even if you're not the driver, you're the passenger seat or sitting in the back seat, make sure your driver is driving you safe. You're in that vehicle as well. Your life is on the line, possibly, every time you get in a car. Make sure your driver is focused and not distracting, because it could kill you as well. You don't need to be driving. Okay, just clearing that up, putting that in your head to remember you, to remind you that every time you're in a vehicle, it's not safe. There's a chance of harm coming to you. Now, don't freak out. Don't get too crazy. Don't go in a panic rage. Come on. Just a reminder to be extra careful out there. Thing is, it's a mystery we all gotta live with. We don't know who's out there driving. Could be some lunatic trying to, crash purposely to end their lives. Who knows what kind of crazy people out here in this world these days. But just be extra careful when you're out there in the world. So it's now September the 2nd of 2019 as I continue to tape the remainder of this video, if you can call it a video, it's mostly an audio, whatever. It's September 2nd, it's Labor Day. This time of the year is our favorite time of the year of me and my wife for three reasons, maybe even a fourth reason. First of all, in September, it's my wife's birthday. 2 nights after that is our anniversary. This year will be our 5-year anniversary. So, good accomplishment there, a milestone. And then it's my birthday as well in September. Another good reason I enjoy September is that it's 1 month closer to Halloween, which I love so much. One of my favorite holidays, if not the favorite holiday of D2Diz. That's me, by the way. I'm D2Diz. In case you didn't know, now you know. Around this time, I like to start looking at Halloween stuff at the stores. Um, they'll have it ready at certain locations right around August and September as well, all the way to after Halloween, obviously, even a day or two afterwards. You know, the sales of all the stuff, the leftover stuff. Anyway, I like to look at Halloween decorations, pre-plan. Okay, maybe I'll buy this in 2 weeks, or maybe depending on what it is and my financial capability at that time, I might purchase it there and then, or maybe think about it, consider it, depending what I do or do not find. Um, so yeah, I like to look at my options right about now. And one of the things once comes October 1st, it's right when I put up the decorations. I enjoy decorating for Halloween. It's making things look all creepy and scary around our apartment. Last year, I believe I did a great job. You can check out those videos of how I decorated here on my YouTube channel from last year's October. Um, and I like to mix it up every year. Um, and I enjoy doing scary type videos around Halloween. So I'm a big fan of the horror genre, whether it be listening to stories, watching films, short films, movies, full length films, um, whatever it is. But decorating the home for Halloween is just another thing because it's different. You know, you're being creative with it, where to place it and everything. So I enjoy that aspect of it. I'll get more into Halloween when it's closer to October and it's actually closer to the holiday. I don't want to spend that conversation in September. Because then, what else am I going to talk about next month if I do another one of these, right? Haha. Speaking of horror, it was last week, I believe, or the other week before. Who knows? Not important when it was. But a week ago, let's say, we got the movie from Redbox, The Curse of La Llorona. Now, let me tell you this. I grew up hearing about La Llorona since I was a child. Okay, it's a legend here locally, with the Mexican culture being right across from Mexico, right here, the border town. Anywho, hearing about La Llorona, the early years of my life, knowing every single aspect of La Llorona stories, knowing the, the, the stories, okay? So now you sit here and you watch the film, you watch the movie on DVD, rented, Redbox, me and my wife, the early minutes of the films and the starting point of the movie. By the way, before I get to my point, I believe we didn't even make it past the 15-minute mark. We cut it, we ended it. It was not interesting, it was boring. We didn't finish watching the movie. Okay, now let me get to my point. My point is in the early minutes of the film, okay, it is this is what I noticed. This is what I noticed. Okay, La Llorona is getting into people's houses to get the kids and kill the kids, whatever. This is what came across my mind. I was like, wait a minute. Isn't La Llorona supposed to be like an outdoor spirit, so, roaming the lakes and beaches or stuff like that, to looking for children who are out at during the dark, looking for children to capture and drown and keep on for her own or whatever the story is, right? Um, so I'm thinking, why is La Llorona going to visit people in their homes? The whole concept of La Llorona is supposed to be an outdoor thing. Why did they not do it that way? The movie should have been kids outside, unsupervised, obviously. But it's a horror movie. Like it will make sense like any other horror movie that the parents are not aware of it, whatever. Kids outside during the darkness, and they get their experience with La Llorona in a single night. Okay, why do you have to bring La Llorona into a house? We've seen the haunted house movies over and over and over again. You could have avoided being redundant here. Instead of doing that, you should have made this an outdoor film. Kids on the beach, fooling around, playing around in the darkness after hours. Now they get their experience with La Llorona. This whole movie, to me, because of that, I didn't like it. other than the fact that it was boring and not interesting. Because to me, it was like, okay, I understand the whole story of La Llorona. She captures these kids, as the legend says, when they're outside in the dark, when they're outside after late hours of the night. The Llorona legend isn't she comes and visits you at home and she takes you and she kills you. No, that's not the story. That's not what it's supposed to be. Yet, that's what they made this film. And it's a redundant because we've seen the haunted house film genre before over and over and over, repeatedly. So, in my opinion, I think the movie would have been a lot more creative if done outside because it would have been something we usually do not see in horror movies. Instead, it's another haunted house movie um, cliche thing. Yes, the house is not haunted in the movie. I know that, but it comes across that way. It's the same thing. And no, this should have been outside, in my opinion. That affected to me, and I think maybe a lot of people who like maybe they didn't put that together. But once you listen to me and you realize that what I'm saying holds a lot of weight, then you'll realize, all right, he's got a point. That is the legendary story of La Llorona. Why was it indoors? I mean, that's just the way I felt about it early on, but that does not take away from. That is like not the main reason I stopped watching the movie after the first 15 minutes or so. It just was very not interesting. It wasn't anything new that we haven't seen before, and there's a lot of stuff that I had just wasn't into. The whole umbrella with the by the pool scene with the little girl. I don't know, and there's points where I had no idea what was going on. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, that movie was interesting to me. Just my opinion there on that entertainment film. Also, last week or recently saw on DVD A Dog's Journey. That's another good film, in my opinion. It is the sequel to A Dog's Purpose. I've seen both of them. A Dog's Purpose, I believe we saw it a year or two ago. That movie, it made me cry a lot when we watched it. A Dog's Purpose, it is very sad, emotional movie for me, mainly because I lost a dog that I was very close to, my little Chihuahua dog, Destiny. She passed on after only 6 months of being born. I believe she was born with an illness because when she and her siblings were born and they were only 2 weeks old, the mother passed away. So maybe they were born with illnesses themselves, who knows? But Destiny only lived to be 6 months. And those 6 months were very good to me. So when she passed on, it hit me very hard, somewhat depressing. But let's not get into that right now. I don't want to cry while taping this, anyways. But because of that experience, watching the A Dog's Purpose 2 years ago was very emotional for me. Um, and if you've seen it, you'll understand what that has to do in relation to my experience with my dog Destiny. And then A Dog's Purpose, I mean, has a sequel, A Dog's Journey, and that's very emotional for me as well. But I would, between the both, I would say the first one is a lot more emotional for me, but the second one is still good. I still recommend it to anyone who hasn't watched the sequel, or any of the two. So go check out those two, A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Journey. If you like sad movies, or if you love dogs movies, you'll enjoy those two. I promise you. Another dog movie I checked out a number of weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, was A Dog's Way Home. I I'm okay with that one. I don't recommend I don't give it a strong recommendation like The Dog's Purpose and The Dog's Journey, but it's still a good film to watch overall. So those are the films that I can recommend you all. Another movie that I thought was just dumb and stupid for its genre is Happy Death Day to You, the part two of Happy Death Day. Well, Happy Death Day was alright and it was okay. Happy Death Day to You was just horrible. I didn't like it. It was dumb for its genre. It's supposed to be a slasher horror film. Comes across more of a science fiction slash comedy relief film. And not only that, but the logic behind the plot and the story is horrible. You're telling me the reason why the day resets is because of this machine that was created in the laboratory of the Science Academy or whatever it is. What does that have to do with this girl's life? Why is it that every time she dies, the time is reset, the day is reset? What does the machine and her life support have to do with another? What is that connection? The movie starts like you're gonna think, okay, it's gonna happen to somebody else, and we never get back to it. We never finish the story of why this guy having the same issue as the other girl did in the first movie. Instead, we get a rewind, and now it's again back to the first film. Basically, what we're getting is an alternate version of the first movie. That's what it is, really. And we forget about the guy's experience with the resetting of the time. But once again, you're trying to over explain things. This happens in a lot of the horror films. We don't care, honestly. I could care less why this whole thing is going on. I don't need to know why the time is resetting every time she dies. We did not have to be explained this. It's a horror movie, a slasher film. It's a movie, I get it. We did not need to be explained to why it keeps happening, resetting and resetting and resetting. All you did with your attempt to explain is create plot holes that I see clearly because like I said a minute ago, if the time is resetting itself because of this device, of this machine they created in the laboratory, what does that have to do with her life? Why does it have to reset every time she specifically dies? When it's the machine that's supposed to be resetting it. Like, I don't understand that. It's pick one. Is it because she dies? Or is it because of the machine? Those two, in my opinion, factually, they're not connected. So to me, it made zero sense. Zero sense in that aspect. I did not understand that. Those two things don't fit well together, in my opinion. And once again, you over explain yourself in a horror movie that was not necessary. I did not need to know why it's resetting. Just focus on the slasher. Tell that story. Tell that story of who and why they're trying to kill the person. I don't need to know why the time is relapsing and repeatedly and redundant. First, you tell me it's because of the machine, but yet again, it's because of her life. I don't understand how her life is connected to the machine. Is all I'm saying. And they don't really tell you why. They don't share with you why. And this movie focuses on other storylines and not enough on the horror slasher aspect. They focus more on her issues with her mom being passed away and her issues with the father and everything else. And her relationship with the guy. To me, it was not interesting. I didn't want to know any of that. All I want to know is who's killing her and why. I didn't need to know it was a machine and you're creating stuff that's more plot holes. Okay, I know I'm being redundant. I'm just trying to emphasize my viewpoints. And that's how I felt about that movie. God, please no, do not make a third one. I'm not interested in making in seeing a third one. So Blumhouse Productions, please avoid a third movie. I know without a shadow of a doubt, if you make a third film, it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be garbage. You're not gonna redeem yourself. It's over. End it. Kill it. Do not reset this film. But I know that in 20, 30 years from now, there's going to be a remake of this film. Just you wait. Now, to give my opinion on Spider-Man getting out of the MCU. It's out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe due to a breakup issue or some issues between Disney, who owns the Marvel Studios, and Sony, who owns the licensing rights for Spider-Man. Now, I'm not going to give my opinion on it because there's things that I feel positive about this. I'm like, okay, this is why it's good for the Spider-Man and its character and its individual movie, but at the same time, there's reasons why I think it's bad for the entire Marvel franchise as well. Short and sweet, I'm not going to get into a whole lot. Would I want to keep Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Of course I do. I do want to focus, however, more on its solo storytelling, which I think has been lacking a few somewhat, because it's been more focused on having that character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it has given Spider-Man films less story to work with Peter Parker and its other characters, not focus too much on his own individual stories. So on that aspect, it's good so they can focus more on Spidey and its other characters, and rather than just focus on Spider-Man's relation with the other Marvel characters. So that's all I'm gonna say about that, and move on. Seeing the new trailer for the new Joker film, and it looks like not my type of movie. It doesn't look like an actual DC comic book movie. Um, I don't know. I'm just not into it. Nothing against the film. It just doesn't seem to be like my type of film. To me, it kind of gave off this Godfather vibe, and that's not the type of movies I'm into. That's just me. That's just how I felt about after seeing the previews on YouTube. My wife feels the same. Well, I don't know about her, about what type of movie she feels like it is, but to me, it's kind of like a crime lord type of movie. It seems like, which is fine. It's like I said, it's not my cup of tea. My wife also saw the trailer and she feels like she won't be into it, so she's not looking forward to it. She doesn't want to see the film. Neither do I. Not to say we'll never watch it. We'll probably end up watching it eventually when it's on Redbox months after it leaves the theaters. But we're not willing to go and pay the full amount at the mall movies. Um, we're just not willing to, and it's nothing against the film. It just seems to be a movie that we're just not gonna watch. We're just gonna skip it. If you're insulted by that, my apologies. That's just how we feel about this particular film. Is it disappointing? I wouldn't say so. It's DC, for crying out loud. They don't know how to do good, comic book movies, I would say. When have they done one great and fantastic in comparison, especially in comparison to the Marvel films? Um, so yeah, I do this video, or audio as you want to call it, I don't know, for one reason, to give you all something different, right? To give you all something different. It's not the same redundant type of video on my channel. I want to put out different type of stuff on my channel every once in a while. So this is why I have this video, because to give you all something different and something enjoyable to listen to, um, on the go. So that is why I do this video series. Guys, one last thing before I leave you all. I am working on a long video. It's going to be a lengthy one. Maybe I would say to between 40 minutes and or an hour. I'm not sure yet. I'm not even completely done with it. But it should be out, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I would estimate the video should be done by 3 weeks from now. I would give it a month. Give it a month because it'll probably take a week of editing or 2 weeks of editing. So give it a month, and this video that I'm working so much on, I've been working on it for 2 weeks already, spending time shooting it. And like I said, it's gonna spend another 2 weeks on it, perhaps, and probably another 2 weeks of editing, especially if I get the lazy bones. I'll try not to get the lazy bones, but it could happen. I spend a lot of time working during the night shifts. So that's that. I'm also working on the Barry 2 screenplay, the screenplay for Barry 2. That is the sequel to Barry, obviously. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's a short horror film I put out 2 years ago before Halloween. So its sequel, Barry 2, is coming to you shortly. I'm still working on the screenplay. About, I would say, 38% into it, as far as how much I've gotten finished with it. So anyways, that's that. Um, if I think it's gonna take longer than I expected to record that one, so it might not even come out on time for Halloween. Especially, I would take a long time to shoot. Once I finish with the screenplay, I think I'll finish with the screenplay by the end of this week. I'm hoping. Um, but it'll take about a month or so to shoot. Plus, I would probably take a week to edit, maybe even more, and then I will want more time to advertise. So, because of that, I'm thinking to work on another screenplay that will probably take faster to record and do everything by Halloween to get it done by then. Because I like to do a short film before Halloween. So anyways, I'm hoping for that. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy your day. Have a good night, y'all.